Hello all, welcome to my channel. This is Rakshekar. In the earlier session, we have seen how to connect AWS S3 buckets and extract the data directly within our Databricks workspace. In this session, we'll see how to connect to different SQL databases and get the tables directly into our workspace. The agenda is today we'll create a SQL database using Amazon Web Services, that is RDS, Relational Database Systems. In this session, we'll be having focusing on PostgreSQL. We'll also see some configuration settings like the endpoint, security groups, and whether it is publicly accessible or not. And we'll also share some of the credentials, the host names, the database name, and the JDBC drivers. This video is just for the educational purpose. That is the reason why I'll be sharing all these details. But once this video is completed, I'll be deleting the entire connections. But please make sure that you do not share your security information and the confidential information so that your database will be secured. Now I've logged into my AWS account and this is the home page. And in this you can see recently visited info. These are different services which I've been recently using, and these are like shortcuts. If at all you want to search for a specific service, you just click here and write RDS. Say for example that is Relational Database Systems, and click here and it will be directed to the RDS page. So in this, there are many services and many options and settings which are available in this page. However, we'll be seeing only the relevant details which are within the scope of this video, right? So if you can see, we can create Amazon Aurora with 128 TB of auto scaling storage and at a starting price of less than $1 per day. But however, we'll be using free tier services in this. So click on the DB instances. So it shows different databases which I've already created just for the practice on this. So I've created one PostgreSQL database, and I've also created one MySQL database, right? And in this, it does not have any data as of now. This is just for the demonstration purpose. The database is already created and the status is available and it is running. So it is, you can see already it is connected to one of my connections within my system, right? So when you click on the here, say for example, before clicking on here, we'll create a new database so that it will be easier for everyone to understand. Click on create database. So in this, we'll choose the easiest options of having recommended best configuration practices so that it will automatically configure the entire systems. So here in this, you can create different databases like MySQL, MariaDB, Oracle, PostgreSQL, and Microsoft SQL Service, and many others. But in this, for this demo, we'll create a PostgreSQL, and we'll also click on the free tier, which will be free for us up to a certain limit. And once it is done, once the limit is completed, you will be charged based on pay per use basis. So in this, what I would do is I'll create a Postgres DB. It's the name of the login account. I'll create a password. I'll confirm the same password again. And then I think it has to be more than 8 characters. So what I would do is I'll do the settings. Okay, I think it's done. We'll just create the database, right? Normally for creating a database, it takes around 15 to 20 minutes. And once the database is created, I'll be starting it up. Our database has been created. In the status, if you can see, it is available, right? So we have just created this particular database just now. So if you could see at the top, there is a green button like view connection details, and this is the only time which you will be seeing this information, that is the username and the password along with the endpoint. And endpoint can be seen within the settings itself, but the username and the password will be shown only once. So make sure that you copy these details and save it in your local system so that it will be referenced in our connections, right? So I'll close this up and this as well. So now I'll not be able to see my username and the password, right? So this is just the database which we have created. Click on this here. So this is the endpoint wherein you'll use this as a host to connect to your database, right? And this is the port 5432. And if you could see, uh, there are security groups. So say for example, if you want to set some security groups, click on here. You'll have some security groups. I mean, with these security groups which are already created earlier. So just come down. So if you want to create security groups, you can have more than two, three security groups. And within these security groups, there are inbound rules and the outbound rules so that it will allow any incoming data corrections within the database. And these settings will enable us to connect the different data sources. So within this inbound and outbound, click on the edit outbound rules and add a rule. You can select the database which you have just created, maybe PostgresQL. So I've already had this Postgres settings, and for now, I'll be using a custom settings of IP4 anywhere IPv4. It means it allows the connections to be done from any IP address, from any system, from anywhere, right? So this is just for the demonstration purpose. There are some rules and regulations within this we can set, but for now we'll be allowing the entire database to be connected from anywhere, right? So as soon as you have to, you have to save the rules, but this will not allow me because the same set of group of settings are already implemented in my earlier security groups. The same thing you can do for the inbound connections as well. We'll allow the entire IP addresses from anywhere and any system you can connect to this particular database, right? There is one more important setting which you need to understand in RDS. Like as of now, this publicly accessible setting is configured to no, which means it will not allow you to connect to this particular database at this point of time. So if you want to make the changes for this, you just go on the top, click on the modify button, and you'll be directed to a separate page wherein you'll see different settings here. And if you want to change the password as well, you can change the master password as well. But for now, to change this thing, scroll down a bit. Within the connectivity IPv4, you'll have a separate button called additional configurations. Click on this. So in this, the setting will be there publicly accessible. You need to turn on this to connect to your database from either from Databricks or from any other services, and then save it. Come to the bottom. There are many other settings which will not change anything at the moment. Just continue and modify. Okay. So if you could see, successfully modified instance database one. So now if you can connect to this database, it will be accessible from anywhere, from any PC, As of now, this is not secured, and make sure that you have relevant settings when you are doing some production type of informations or the data. Now that we have created our database within Amazon Web Services, we'll try to connect this particular database from our local systems. So to connect to these databases, I normally use Table Plus. Again, this is a free software. You don't have to purchase the licenses, and it has some limitations. You can connect up to two databases maximum, and you can work with any of the databases. Like you can click on create new connection. You can work on any of these databases within this particular software. Again, no publishing on this thing, and no advertisement on Table Plus, but I'm just using this. That's why I've given the information. So to connect our to database, so just I've already connected to it with all the relevant details. I've given the name. This is just a name, but for my reference, this can be anything. You just have to add this host, which is the endpoint which you have seen, the username and the password, and then connect it. So once it is connected, it will be giving a green signal here. Sometimes it might take a little bit of time to get to connected to our Amazon Web Services thing, right? So Command K will give our available databases and the tables. I've added some dummy data within this PostgresQL. So if you want to see any of these tables, say for example, I want to see this is the table and this is the information which I normally use. And if you want to run a query on this, you can write the SQL queries here. Right? Say for example, select star from Airbnb apartments, right? Maybe the search results. So I'll write this and then click run here. So it will give me the entire tables, right? So now this database is created and we have some information within the databases and different tables. And we'll see how to connect these different tables to our Databricks system. So this is my community edition Databricks notebook. So what I've done is like I've created a CSV file with all the username, the passwords, and the host name within this particular CSV file, and I have uploaded that CSV file within my Databricks systems, which I've shown it earlier in the videos. So what I would do is like I would create a data frame with the CSV file so that I can extract the entire information which I have saved in that particular file, right? So this is just similar like what we have done earlier. Options, header. This header is supposed to true is required just because the system has to differentiate between the data and with the headings, right? So this is the file which I have shared. So instead of displaying the Spark data frame, I would just see the columns which it contains, not the information. So it's running. So it has three columns, one with the username, one with the password, and one with the host. So what I would do is, without revealing all these values, I would create three variables. Username as just a minute. This data frame keys underscore df dot select. I would select the username, the column. This we have seen it in the earlier videos as well, how to get the information. Take one 0 and then the column name again. So I would copy this and then paste it here. So this variable will have my username. So I would copy the entire line, paste it again, and this would be password. And I'll copy this. This is the column name, and again here, right? Copy, paste it, and the last one would be the host. So I'm just creating three different variables so that the information or the confidential information can be stored in these things. And once the connection is done, you can delete these things, right? So database name, we need to give a database name. Uh, in this, if you could see, this is our database name, Airbnb. This is our database name. So I would enter here as Airbnb, and that's it. Okay, so I'll run this file, sorry, cell. Okay, so what I would do is like I can leave this like this and create a new workspace, new Databricks notebook, and I would extract the information from that particular file, right? So I forgot the name of it. So AWS Postgresql, AWS Postgres keys, and then run it. So it's running. So what I'm doing is I've created the different variables, username, password, and host, and I've allocated those variables with the relevant data, and I've saved that particular notebook in a separate file so that our code looks neat and clean. Right. Now we'll create Postgres JDBC URL. This is just the heading, Postgres JDBC URL, and I would mark this up. This is just a markdown syntax so that it will have a highlighter here, and we'll see here. So we'll create a JDBC URL variable, and this is the syntax which you normally get it from anywhere. Write JDBC Postgres SQL. In this, write curly brackets. We have three strings. So in this we'll have two strings, one for format, sorry, one for host and the other one for database name. So if you could remember, we have created the host variable and the database variable and then run it. So this is our JDBC URL. Then database name, okay, spelling is wrong. Database name is defined in the earlier videos, earlier files. Now we'll create connection properties with the username and the passwords, right? Create connection properties with user name and passwords. So I'll share this file after the video so that you people can understand how it is being done, right? So for the connection properties, I'll create a variable con properties as a dictionary. Okay. So in this, I'll create user as the username which we had here. This is the username, and the password as the password. The same variable you need to use, the same information which we have saved in the other file, right? So that's it. So this is the connection properties, right? We also need to have a Postgres driver. Load Postgres driver. So the Postgres driver, I think the heading is too large. I'll make one more smaller. So the Postgres driver, I would write this in Scala just because I could not get the exact code within Python. So I would write class for capital name, capital N, and then write this org dot Postgres, sorry, PostgresQL dot driver, and D is the capital letter. So just follow the syntax so that you will not have any errors, right? So I run this. Now that we have created all the relevant variables, we just need to uh, just connect to our database. So reading a table, I'll write read the table from AWS Postgres server, Postgres server SQL. Okay, so this is how we write code. So what we do is like this is just a Spark data frame, Spark dot read dot, instead of format CSV and all, we will write it as JDBC. And within this JDBC, we need to give the URL. The URL is this variable which we have created earlier. This is the JDBC URL. Copy this and paste it. And now we need to give a table name. Say, for example, in this, we have this table name, the search results. This is the same table name. We'll copy this. Okay. The table name is this Airbnb results, and then the properties. So you need to give the connection properties with username and the passwords. Okay, I think it should. So we'll create a data frame name. Say, for example, this same name as the table search results, and then run this. So it is running. I think we have not given the password. I think the spelling is wrong somewhere. Yeah, here. So instead of password, we need to run this cell again. Come down and run this cell now. It should work, I guess. It's running now. So we have successfully got the data frame from our AWS SQL, right? Just to see if it has any data in it, right? I would write display and then paste it here. So it has some information. So this is how we read the information from the table, right? If you want to just cross check it, the same thing in our thing, like it has ID, price, property type, room type. So ID, price, property type, room type. Yeah, this is the exact information which we have gathered. Say, for example, if we want to write the data frame within uh, Databricks to our SQL servers. So earlier we have seen we had some free data sets within Databricks. Just we'll see Databricks hyphen datasets. I guess this is the path. We'll see. So in this we have so many data sets. So we'll grab one of these things. We'll see if we have any other data so that we'll grab the information from this data sets and we'll populate that data set within our SQL Server databases. So I think this one, I think we had some diamonds data set, right? So I guess this is the path. paste it here. Sorry. So within this CSV, we have many CSV files within this. And then run. Yeah, ggplot2. So I don't remember the exact location of it. Yeah, this is the diamonds dataset which we have seen earlier, right? So we copy this and we create a data frame, diamonds df as spark dot read dot format csv dot options header is equals to true and info schema is true. Sorry, info schema as true, and then the load thing dot load the file path which we have saved, right? So display diamonds df and then right. So this is the data frame which we are reading from the Databricks file. We will try and write this particular data frame into our Databricks, sorry, Amazon Web Services PostgreSQL server, right? So write a Postgres connection SQL, sorry, using JDBC connection, right? So what I would do is diamonds df. So this is the name of the data frame. So I would write as JDBC, JDBC, and then the same thing. I need to give the URL as the JDBC URL. I need to give, sorry, the JDBC URL and the table name. I have to give, maybe I'll write it as diamonds. And this is the table name which will be shown in our SQL server. Properties, just to make sure we don't have any spelling mistakes this time. Properties, and then that's it. So I think it should run and it should work. So as soon as this cell gets run, we will see this particular diamonds table within our database connections. Just a minute, it is running. So, so before it runs, we'll see we don't have a table called diamonds in this. So we'll see if at all after this particular cell is run, if we can see any diamonds table in that. I think it's taking a bit of time. We'll see the jobs. Yeah, I think it's done. So it has taken around 58 seconds to run this thing. So now we'll go to our table plus and we'll refresh the connections. I'll close this and I'll start this again so that it might have that connection. So this is the one. Yeah. So you could see the diamonds table is available now, right? So now we have seen how to read the files from or the tables from SQL servers, and we have also seen how to write these tables into our SQL servers. Say, for example, I have a data set, which in this case we had this diamonds here, and I want to extract the data from this, but with uh, I would say the cut, as we have seen ideal, premium, good, and all. So what if I want to extract the data with only the cut as premium, and I don't want the entire data set? Say, for example, if it has some millions of records, I don't want to extract the entire data set. I want only the information which is relevant for me for my particular case. So what we could do is we can write some push down queries, just push down queries. So the push down query is something like we can write the query SQL queries within while reading the data frame itself, while reading the table from the SQL server itself. So I would create a variable called push down query, and in this I will write a select SQL command. So I would write as select star from diamonds. This is my table name, diamonds, where I want the cut as premium. The premium is this, right? So what I would do is the cut as premium, premium. So I want to extract only these things where the information is relevant. So I would write as alias, and then this is my push down query. Now I would read the data frame. So I will name it as push down df, and then write the spark dot read dot jdbc like we have done earlier. So you need to give the jdbc URL and the table name, which we don't want to grab the entire table. So what we want here is like we just want to grab this particular information. So I would write this table as this one, push down query, and then properties as connection properties, which contains our username and the password, right? Properties. So I would display this data frame, and then we'll see. So what it does is it does not grab the entire data frame or the table from the SQL server. It extracts only the relevant information which we have mentioned in this particular query called the premium as cut. That information only will be given to us. So see, in this you have only the information which has premium as cut, right? The entire table is only this much. So if we have millions and millions of records, and if the data set is very large, we can select only the relevant information which we actually needed from the tables. Say, for example, I don't want any of these columns. Like I just need 3 to 4 different columns. What I can do is I just copy this and then paste it. We can also select the specific columns which we actually require. So I would do this exactly same thing, but at the end of this, I would write as select. I'll give the column names. So one is the caret. I'll write as caret, cut, color, and clarity, right? All these 4 columns. Only these 4 columns I need it. So I can write as caret, cut, color, and clarity, right? Clarity. So I would name this as df2, and then it's the same thing. So what it does is it gives only the 3 columns. So we can write our SQL queries specifically to extract the relevant and the required information from the entire tables or the entire data sets. So that's it for this video. So we have seen many things, and I guess you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.